If you've seen my last video, I talked about how to design your label for whatever that may be. Specifically, my niche is candles, so that's what I was talking about. So now this is like the next step. So this is, you have your design. How do you get that design from the computer onto your product? The software that I use is called Online Labels. So that's what we're diving into here. So here we are on the Online Labels homepage. We can go ahead and decide what kind of labels we want. So if you want to go to blank labels, then they already have categories. If you have like food or beverage, mailing and shipping, we're here for the candle labels. So here you have different sizes to choose by. I would highly recommend, if you have the vessel that your candle is going to go in, or for any product, if you have like the container or the jar, whatever your product is in, I would highly recommend, if you have like a ruler, you can measure like around your jar. That's what I did. That way you can see what size you actually want it to be, because I didn't want the label to be like too small in my jar, but I didn't want it to like wrap around twice. The one that I used, we're gonna go into my orders. So the ones that I have used were the 4x3. I got both the white gloss and the weatherproof matte. This one is a matte kind of texture. This one was more of a glossy one. Honestly, I tried both. I like the gloss better. So I did the 4x3 labels. And then from here, you can go on here to actually tell them what you want specifically. And then it'll tell you in the parentheses underneath if it's for a laser printer or an inkjet printer. And then the more you buy at a time, the less expensive it gets. That's definitely something to keep in mind, but definitely don't feel pressured to get 600 labels if you don't need 600 labels right now. So you have your labels, you've purchased them, they're being shipped out to you, you get them. Oh my gosh, this is a great day, you finally have your tangible labels. So how do you get your design onto the label? Depending on how many you get, your labels can come in a package like this. This is a big boy. I got 100 sheets, which is 1,200 labels. And they are the standard white matte circles. So these are what I use for my logo to go on the candles. So they come in this like hefty container, which is great because if you buy less, then they put them in like a flimsy little envelope and they get like, I live in an apartment, so they just like smush it in the mailbox and it's terrible. Once you get your labels on the invoice, there's going to be an access code that gives you access to the design templates that come with Online Labels. It comes free with every purchase of your label. So what we use to actually design the labels, we are going to go to onlinelabels.com/maestro. And if you need help activating, then you can click this how to activate button. I'm already logged in, so we're just gonna go ahead and go to start designing. But from here, it shows you your recent purchases so that you know what size template to use. So for this demonstration, we can go ahead and use these for the actual candle scent names that I put on the candles. I'm gonna try and do this from scratch just so that you can see like a demonstration. So what we use to design our candle labels is Canva. So we're going to go to our projects, and here's the sample label I designed specifically for this. I posted a video basically how to do this. So if you want some inspiration on that, you can definitely watch that. The intent and purpose of this video, we're strictly going to be downloading this just so we can upload it into our label printer. So we're gonna go over here and go to download. I usually just use what's suggested. So PNG suggested, we're just gonna use PNG. So we're gonna go ahead and download. And then we have an Avalon scented candle PNG saved to our computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the label designer. We're going to go into images, upload new image, and here we have Avalon scented candle, and we're just going to go ahead and upload that. And then it's right over here, so we're going to click on it, and then it's going to be exported over here onto the label. So from here, we're going to go ahead and expand. So as you can see, the dimensions of my design do not fit cleanly into the label. We do not want that. I'm going to go ahead and edit this and bring these words on the side inwards a little bit. That way it can all fit onto our label.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so I made some adjustments, and it should be noted that basically with this, so just so that you can see this first outline here, that dark black outline around the edge right here, that's the safe zone. So you want to make sure that you keep anything important inside of that. And then you do want to, or it's recommended, that you extend your design out to that red dotted line, because that is the bleed zone. So basically what this means is that when you print it, you want to make sure that you don't have like white around the edges. You want to make sure that your label is taking up the entire space. It doesn't really matter as much if your label is just going to be maybe some words on a white background. But for me, since my label is this reddish pink color, I don't want any white to be around the border. So I'm going to extend that red color all the way out to the edges. That way when it prints, there's no risk of there being any white around the edges, and that the whole label can be covered in the logo. So we're gonna go ahead and put that back where it was. This is fine just for the intents of this video, but honestly, if it were me, I would take this writing on the side and bring it down a bit. Probably same with this centerpiece as well. But the tricky thing is with using two different softwares, Canva for designing and then this label designer to actually make the label. I would have to go back into Canva and then like change this around and then download it again and then go over here and upload it again, which honestly like takes a minute if you know what you want to do, but it's just a little bit of a hassle to like have to go back and forth. So that's just something to consider. So from here, you're in love with it, it looks beautiful, we can go ahead and save it. This is going to be called the Avalon Scent, and we're going to save the design. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to print the labels. So we're going to go ahead and print now. And you can either download the design and print it, or you can just print it straight from your browser. I usually do it directly from my browser. And with this, you get a good idea of what your label is going to look like before you print it. So this is kind of like the final check before you start printing your labels. From there, it's pretty self-explanatory if you've ever used a printer. You would just put the blank label sheets into the printer face up, and then you would go ahead and hit this print button. Just go ahead and select the printer you want to print it over to. I'm actually not connected to a printer, which is why I'm not demonstrating this part. And then you definitely want to print in color if you have any color on your label like I do. And then you hit print, and it's just that simple. So I definitely understand that I'm not the best at explaining things. So if you need any like clarification or have any follow-up questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will definitely get to them. But yeah, that is the process. Very simple. That's all I got. So thanks for watching.